everybody, it's Leanne at Quilters Cupboard in Uxbridge. I'm here today to share with you a bit more information about the Block of the Month program that we're starting up at Quilters Cupboard. It's going to be starting in March. We've had quite a few people express a lot of interest, and I wanted to share a bit more information with you if you've been kind of sitting on the fence a little bit about wondering whether or not this is the program for you. Maybe I can help to sway you a little bit. So you've seen the kits and the quilts that I made from the pattern itself. This is a pattern called Luminous, and we had some kits available in the blues and the greens that I did the sample in, etc. Those kits have been very popular. They are all gone, but I don't want you to forget that it's a great pattern. If you are not a fan of blues and greens, if you like deeper, darker colors, maybe that's something that you'd like to give it a try instead, and you're wondering whether or not it's a good thing to switch over to another line of fabric, another color grouping. So on the wall here, I have some of my Kim Deal collection of fabrics, and you'll notice with these guys, I don't have to have gobs of fabric of any one particular fabric, with the exception of your main background. These particular blocks I've actually done in Scrappy. Each one of them, all of the block 1s are different from all of the block 2 fabrics, different from all of the block 3s. So it allows you to say, okay, I have a bunch of beautiful, maybe half meter or fat quarter cuts that I'd like to use, and you're wondering whether or not that's an option. It is written in the pattern. It gives you exactly how much of each fabric, A, B, C, whatever the number is, in each pattern, in each block rather, in the pattern, how much of them you need. So you can say, okay, I only have a couple of fabrics. Will those work? And you can say yes, based on the pattern. I can do a nice little grouping. I can work with just that one particular bundle of fabrics. So if you're looking at, this is block number 4, for example, and you need to have 5 different colors and your background, you can say, okay, I can pick 5 colors. It's not too overwhelming to pick just 5 fabrics that go together and provide some contrast. That's a big part of it. You get to see the design of the block, the shapes that really jump out when you've got good contrast in your fabrics. And what I wanted to show you today was a little bit about how it changes up when you go from a blue-green color grouping, which of course is perfect for me. I love working in blues and greens, but guess what? I'm an equal opportunity fabric hoarder, collector, and have all of these kinds of things in my stash as well. I love all different kinds of fabrics. So if I want to look at block number 1, for example, and say, look, this is block number 1 in the Luminous kit. It's this guy over here. What does it look like in my Kim Deal fabrics? And remember, we also did up some kits in the dark browns and golds and blacks. This is the Gatsby kit that we did up. So this is a comparison of that particular block. The 3 of them look very different, don't they, depending on which grouping of fabric you're interested in using. So that's the smallest one. You are going to make 6 different block number 1s, but use the same fabrics. They don't all have to be different. Then when we move to block number 2, that's this little guy here. So this block is the same as this block. How different does that look? It completely changes it up based on the color family that you're working with and where you've got your lights and your darks and your value changes. When we look at block number 2 in the Gatsby line, it's this guy. Again, looks very different from the blue version, even the Kim Deal one. They're a little more similar, but still look quite different. So it's kind of fun to see how completely different each one of them can be. This is block number 3, which is this guy up here in my Kim Deal fabric. So this is it in the Gatsby batiks. This is a batik line just like this is in the batiks, but they don't have to be batiks, obviously. They can be cotton goods as well. And so there is block number 3 in the Just My Type version. So very different. And this also has the dark background. So it's the dusk version in the Block of the Month pattern, but you can certainly lighten it up with the background, but still keep sort of a darker tone in the blocks, in the fabrics that you're using within the blocks. So that's block number 3 and how different they all look. When you get to block number 4, it's this guy down here in the Kim Deals, or it's this guy in my Gatsby line, or it's this one up here in the Just My Type. So again, so very different looking, equally striking and intriguing looking, but completely different looking. So it helps to be able to visualize, if you're not a blue person, what can it look like in a totally different kind of colorway. So that was block number 4. When we get to block number 5, now I've been working like mad on my blocks for my Kim Deal version. Block number 5, as I'm sure you can tell from up here, is pieced. So I've got all the flying geese components done. I've got the 4 patches done, but they're not quite sewn together. So I can't lift this off the wall to show you, but there's block number 5 in my Kim Deal version. This is block number 5 in the Just My Type version, and this is block number 5 in the Gatsby version. So again, so very different looking, changing up the background value to be light versus dark, changing up sort of the balance of what's dark and dusky versus bright and kind of glows off the dark background. Gives you a very different kind of visual. And it's easy peasy to shop within your stash, work your own stash at home if that's what you want to do, to be able to say, okay, I have some small collections, would they be enough? They can be when you just look at groupings for block by block instead of trying to have fabric number J work in 3 different blocks and you're not sure whether the value and the tone of it is quite right. So much easier to look at one block at a time. So the last one, I don't have my block number 6 done yet in my Kim Deals, but block number 6, you're doing one of these guys. There's lots of piecing, but it's really cool to make. So this is block number 6, sort of the centerpiece, the showstopper in the main pattern, and this is the one in the Gatsby line. And you can go with sort of this medium value in here. We've also popped another little fabric in the kit that's between the light background and sort of the deepness of the darkness of this guy. So if you want to bring that a little bit more to the forefront, there's a lighter fabric that we've put in the kit to be able to pop into there. And it changes the tone of it up a little bit. We learn these things as we make samples for this, that, and the other. What works, what we might want to recommend to people to try something a little bit different. So those are the 6 different blocks that you see in the pattern, in the blue version, in the Gatsby version, in the Kim Deal kind of version. But what if you're thinking you want to do something in a different kind of colorway? You know, not everybody has these kinds of colors in their fabrics. So I brought together a couple of different groupings of other fabrics that I thought I would share with you just to see what it does when you change things up a little bit. So, for example, if you are a pink and purple kind of person, how about if you've got a few of the brights, pinks, and purples, you're drawn to them, they just find their way home with you on a trip to the quilt store, etc., and you're wondering what to do with them. Individually, you're wondering whether or not they actually go together. But when you find one fabric that brings them all together, it's got a little something of all of them that then makes the whole collection work. You can have 5, 6 colors and a background and work with just that many if that's what you want to do. You need a little bit more fabric of each of them, obviously, but there's no one block that has more than 6 colors plus the background. So if you are drawn to 6 and that's all you can come up with in your stash or in your color range, that's all you want to be doing, that's fine. You can work with those 6 and a background, and so long as there is good value and contrast in the color, then you'll be able to work them through into all the different blocks that you're working with. So it's kind of cool. It can start to open up your mind a little bit, help you to think a little bit differently about what you're looking at. I had another grouping of fabric at home, and these guys are a little bit similar to the Gatsby, but a little bit different again. Didn't quite have enough of them. Had another grouping of fabrics that I really liked. Lots of times when I'm helping customers in the store choose fabrics for their projects, I like them so much, some of them have to come home with me. And that's what happened with this guy. So there was 4 of them and a background that I was helping someone with. And I thought, well, you know, okay, so 4 of them are lovely together, but if I need to be able to supplement and pop one over into this guy, or if I want to bring the burgundy over into this grouping, to bring it out of that main print, etc., I can choose. Obviously, you can see in some of the blocks, I only need 3 fabrics. Some of them I need 4, one of them needs 6. So maybe you've got some crossover. Maybe you were thinking of a particular grouping that was going to be for one project. You may not even be wanting to do that one now, but you're thinking, wow, I could pop something from one line in and have it just brighten up the other grouping of what I've got, and away you go to the races, and you've got the collection that you might be looking to use. So those are kind of some ideas to help you think about the fabrics that you may have already in your stash at home. I kind of like the expression, work your stash, work what you've got at home, and build off of that. Lots of times we are eclectic collectors of what we like, and that can change, that can ebb and flow as we go through our quilting kind of careers and the things that we're working with, the patterns that we're drawn to, etc. Not all fabric ends up getting used initially for the project that it was intended for. So sometimes it's fun to dive deep into what we've got at home and see whether or not we'd like to repurpose it into something like this. A block of the month is great for, you don't get overwhelmed with it. You tuck into it for a little while and you put it away, and then you come back to it again. And it's fresh and exciting. You're doing a new block, perhaps a new little grouping of colors, and it's fresh and exciting again. It's also not so overwhelming if you have to catch up 1 or 2 months at a time kind of thing. It's a nice one to work through along and keep up, but it's also not too bad if you're playing a little bit of catch up. So in the program that we're running through here, there is a program that you can join and actually have access to the monthly videos that I will be doing, where I'll be walking through demos of each of the blocks as we're going through, working with the Tucker trimmer to be able to make your quarter square triangles and all your half square triangles be perfectly positioned and sized, etc. We'll work with the wing clipper to create flying geese in the right size that we need, all the points intact for everything. We'll be working with the square squared ruler, which creates a wonderful square and a square in the center of the block of that guy. So these are a 3 of the what I call staple rulers within my Studio 180 Designs toolbox. The wing clipper, the Tucker trimmer, and the square squared. And they are what's used in all the blocks for this. I did also make use of my 4-patch square up ruler, which is one of the newer ones that Deb Tucker created. You don't have to have it, but boy, it sure is nice to be able to have the seams perfectly centered and the sides exactly where they're supposed to be. And that, as we know, is the key to everything that is Deb Tucker ruler related, is that everything is oversized just a little bit and trimmed down so that everything is exactly where it needs to be. Whether you're dealing with little teeny tiny flying geese as small as this guy here, or up to as big as this guy here, they're all on one ruler, but lots of different size options, and everything gets positioned perfectly and trimmed down. In the classes, I'll call them classes, where you have access to the video for each month by month by month, I will also share lots of other ideas of things that you can do with the ruler, because I'm all about them not being just for one project. I want you to get multiple uses out of them. And that's a big part of what I share in my classes, etc. So that's kind of what we're doing for the program for the Luminous. We will be starting that with the first video coming out the 3rd Monday in March, which is March 15th, and it'll be the 3rd Monday of each month after that. So you'll be able to get notification when you register for the program of when the videos are available. We will have discounts available to anybody who signed up into the program for all of the Studio 180 related products and things that I chat about in the class, there'll be an extra discount that's available to you for that. And I'm super excited to be able to share this with you guys. I love working with the tools, as anybody who knows me knows. Love the precision, the accuracy, and you don't have to be a long-time quilter to be able to get really good results with these products. I love that right from relatively beginner quilters can start to look at quilts that might normally be a little bit more daunting to them. So, think about your stash at home. We might not have this particular kit anymore, but it's a great pattern. So I've given you some ideas of how different you can make it look. And if you want to think about shopping into your stash at home, coming up with some different colorways, there's a very good option for you. There's fabulous fabric requirements written in the pattern of what you need if you're going to work with 10 different fabrics, and that's what was in that particular quilt, was 10 different fabrics plus the background, or if you want to break it down block by block by block. The pattern walks you through all of those, and that's what works so well in the pattern. I love the way all of that comes together and gives you the information that you need. So I look forward to sharing that with you. Certainly if you've got any questions, get back to us at Quilters Cupboard. You can sign up for the class through the website and be able to have access to, like I said, the videos and the pattern and the tools, etc. We have all of the Studio 180 tools in the store here, and if you've done anything with them, chances are you keep adding to your pile of their tools because they work so well. Okay, that's great. Thank you very much. I hope everybody has a great weekend. This is such fun to share with you all. Take good care, everybody. Bye-bye.